Hello and welcome to episode 587 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Join me as always is the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
Going very well, Andrew. Hope you're doing well, and our listeners are all doing great.
I'm only interested in Glenn. But anyway, we'll get to him.
Same here.
How has the week been for the resident Panthers fan? You had a tough old victory during the week, I hear.
It's been rough. They scored a point against us. I don't like that. That's not good enough. But yeah, you know what? That towards the end of that Panthers versus Storm game, I was sitting a little bit stunned because there are times when you have to reconfigure what you think about what you're seeing, and I was kind of doing that a little bit. And, this Panthers team has made me do that a bunch of times over the last number of years. And to see the way that Penrith are just dominating everyone and the manner that they're doing it in, it's really weird to see. And I don't know what to think about it because I've never seen a start to a season anywhere close to this, where they haven't even been pushed and they're hammering teams. And they're hammering they hammered the two grand finalists and one of the teams that should be in the top four in the Sharks. So, yeah, and I think I noticed it in the Panthers crowd that was there at the game too, where they were pretty quiet towards the end. And I think it's just a case of what are we watching here? This is crazy. So, they're not going to go through undefeated, but I don't look at anyone in the league and particularly think that they're going to be a problem for the Panthers.
The thing that I was thinking watching that game was, for almost the entirety of Craig Bellamy's tenure as coach there, Melbourne's been the benchmark. And even when Penrith in these last few seasons have been, the dominant team, clearly, you wouldn't write off Melbourne. And the worst
they had to beat Melbourne. Penrith had to beat Melbourne.
Yeah, you still got to prove that you're the best team by beating Melbourne. And there was still a contest for Penrith.
Yeah.
And after watching that game last week, I was thinking, I wonder if this is the moment, that one game, and it doesn't happen usually in one game, that one game where the baton got passed.
Yeah,
because as we've discussed before, this Panther side is still young. So there's a fair chance that this could be a decade of dominance minimum. I'm wondering if that's where it's at, because the Storm side too is also, most of their key players are approaching 30, or if not already in their 30s. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have a turnover of quality players very soon.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I wonder if this is the actual moment. This game is where the baton got passed from Bellamy to Cleary. He says, right, you're now the GOAT.
Yeah, they just handled them so easily.
It was not an effort.
No.
It was not an effort.
And I they've done it in every single game so far. Brisbane, I think, they'll come good. The problem that they'll have is if their older players can get through the season. And, we worried about that last year and it didn't seem to be a problem,
I think, though, with Brisbane is that the concern is that this might actually be their last year of being this good, because they're going to lose Reynolds, Hunt and Payne Haas.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Penrith, I don't know that they're losing anyone this season. Cleary is up for contract after that, but I think that they're waiting for the salary cap to go up, to be honest. And if you're Penrith, you kind of just, whatever he says he wants, you kind of got to offer it to him,
Basically, I think the Penrith officials got to say, look, Nathan, we're going to name ropes crossing after you. This is what we're prepared to do to keep you on board. And what player can say no to that?
Exactly. That would be such an honour. So another thing is, like, you look at some of the players that they're bringing in and they're doing a great job, and then you've got someone like McLean who's like still a teenager and is he's on track to be something incredible, and it's just like their junior base spits out an international quality player about every 2 or 3 years, and if it just does that, it's like they're going to be in a ridiculous situation. And that's not even taking into account that, like, Nathan Cleary has younger brothers who play footy and are pretty highly rated too. And, like, they're always looming on the horizon as well, that they'll eventually come into first grade. I know Jet Cleary's over in New Zealand, but if he was going to leave the Warriors now, guess where he'd end up, you know? So there's... I'm starting to sort of line them up against St. George in a funny way. I know that they lost they didn't win a grand final last year, but it's sort of a case of like, oh, this must have been what it was like with St. George when they had all of these great young players. They become established stars, and then other great young players come in and they become stars, and the cycle sort of repeated a few times during their great run. So it's really interesting to see. And, if Penrith goes on to absolutely dominate this season and win the grand final, and touch wood they do, as a Panthers fan, I think that we will all have to recalibrate where we think of them in terms of, like, what they've achieved is top 3 all time. I think then it will just be them and St. George.
I think if they get to the grand final this year, it is just them and St. George. Maybe the south side of the 20s, because that was a pretty untouchable team as well. But it's that sort of territory. Yeah.
Which is so weird to think about my team. Like, we've done podcasts where I've got drunk because they've been so bad. And they've been on this ridiculous run, and I'm watching it and I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this, let alone it being my team.
Yeah. I can actually now say that I have an understanding what it's like to feel that way.
Yeah.
Because Monday, my team just absolutely belted Parramatta.
Yeah, yeah.
It was great. Like, we got to see Mitch Moses getting all touchy-feely with the referees for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Parramatta doing Parramatta things, like having an absolute brain meltdown.
Yep, that was fun.
That last 2 minutes when they actually kicked the penalty goal to take the lead 20-18, all you got to do is just defend and then hold the ball for a set, and you basically run the clock down. And then they went in too hard on a tackle, went high and gave away a penalty and leveled the scores, went to golden point. So, obviously that's the ref's fault.
Yeah, yeah.
The amount of ref blaming going on by a team who missed, how many shots of goal did they miss?
I can't even remember, but it was a lot.
Yeah. So they had plenty of opportunities to win that game by themselves. And if you throw that away and put it into the hands of a referee who's got to make a lot of calls, 50-50 on the fly with no assistance, whose fault's that again? You got what's in front of you.
It's the referee.
They're in control of their own destiny, and they decided that they wanted to lose that game, and that's what they went and did.
Yeah, and like with the way that Mitch Moses was carrying on through the whole game, which was ridiculous.
Yes.
And then afterwards, they just wanted to break the salary cap because players got injured in the game.
Oh.
And it's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we're going to apply to the NRL because we lost 3 players to foul play. And it's like, okay, why? That, like, every team has 30 players in its squad, and this happens. Just over the course of a season, you're going to lose players to injury, and some of them are going to be to foul play. And you want the salary cap to be broken for you because of it? Like, why?
So the Daily Telegraph ran this story. Was it yesterday? It's basically said 3 high-profile Eels players will combine for 49 games spent out injured as a result of foul play, while the culprits will miss just 6.
Yeah, sucks.
Sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes players might miss 8 to 10 weeks football, and it wasn't through illegal play. And you don't get any compensation for that either. So you're playing a full contact body sport. Like shit's going to happen.
Mm.
But you can't. And this is a problem that we've discussed for many, many years. You can't make the ruling on how much someone gets punished based on the amount of weeks the injured person misses.
Yeah, and like you want to spend, then you want to go out and spend more money under the salary cap to go and get someone, I don't know where from, but to go and get somebody, or even bring somebody in from beyond your 30-man squad to come in for a certain number of games until the other guy gets healthy again, and then you want to ditch that guy. And it's like, that's called breaking the salary cap, which I know the Parramatta Eels are well versed in, you know, especially for a terrible team. They must look at where they are on the ladder and say, hey, we should be breaking the salary cap. We're so far down the ladder. But it just makes no sense. And the fucking whinging about it is ridiculous. I can't believe that they would have the fucking balls to think that you can even ask to spend more money than everyone else because 3 players got injured.
Especially for a team that still bitches and moans about how they should be handed the premiership from, what was it, 2009 against Melbourne, when Melbourne were cheating the cup?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this whole idea about, you know, trying to make it a bit of parity between how much the culprit gets suspended and how much it needs to be similar to how much the injuries are. Sometimes we are talking the difference of like a centimetre or two between, or a second or two between a tackle going fine to a tackle going bad. And the intent could be exactly the same in both of them. And you're going to try and tell me that 1 second or 1 centimetre is the difference between someone getting a week and someone getting 40 weeks?
Yeah,
I mean, that's been exaggerated. You know, 10 weeks and 1 week. It's just no, okay? You've got to have a set rule for the punishments. And sometimes you could hit one person high and they might just go down. They might miss a week just through the concussion protocols. And the same tackle might break another person's jaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this isn't Stephen Kearney dropping Jared McCracken from, you know, 1.5 feet in the air right on top of his head. You know, these have been like...
Yeah, I mean, and what happens there? Like, should we have put those 3 Melbourne Storm players who tackled Alex McKinnon, should we just put them on the sideline and put maybe in wheelchairs to make sure it's even?
Yeah,
like, come on.
It's really weird, and I don't understand the thinking behind it. And yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure the thinking behind it is, woe is me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And like 3 whole players are injured in your squad. Oh my goodness, you know, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. That was ludicrous.
It was weak. It's so fucking weak.
Speaking of weak,
mm-hmm.
the mainstream media and their constant inability to put any pressure on people who they like, who are being shit at what they do. And I'm talking about Shane Flanagan.
Yeah.
He's lost his last 9 straight games now as Dragons coach.
It sounds worse than it is, though, Andrew. Like, I mean, I know it sounds like 9 straight games and they look terrible, but you got to look to the future. And his son is coming back into the side, so that'll be something.
They're rushing him back from concussion because that's going to help.
Yeah, and look, for the first time in 27 years, the entire football departments and everything for the Dragons are under one roof. So good times are ahead.
Well, I made a comment on social media. I just said, it feels like there's been more criticisms of Benji Marshall as a coach than there has been of Shane Flanagan in the last 2 years. Remember, we had the talk, was it last year or the year before, about, you know, Benji saying he doesn't believe in working long hours, and they were criticising the fact that he's not some sort of animal that obsesses over rugby league every waking hour he's got, and then more.
Yeah, there was some time off, and he used it, and they blew up about it because he shouldn't use his time off. Yeah,
and there were players who were like being given time to be with their family.
Yeah, disgusting.
Horrible. For the last 32 games as coaches, Flanagan's had 8 wins and Benji's had 14.
Yeah, and look, Benji started with a team at rock bottom. Yeah. That needs to be remembered.
Yeah, Benji's almost up to 50% win rate those last season or so of games. And the defense is improving. The roster is getting vastly stronger. They're getting more competitive and more consistent on the field. And the Dragons are doing all of the opposite of all of that.
Yeah, the Dragons look like a team from a different era. And like their construction is so bad. And he's been there long enough that it's his team now, you know?
Yeah, and there's people coming out saying, but the board signed this and the board did. Man, he doesn't have the board dramas that Benji Marshall does. No one does.
No. He's also spending the exact same amount of money that the Penrith Panthers are on players.
Yes.
And that people forget that sometimes.
And look who he bought.
Yeah.
And he bought those players. That's who he wanted. He got all of those. That's on Flanagan. You're not going to sit there and say that Benji's going to sit there and complain and bitch and moan about his roster, is he?
There's also the weird thing that's going on with their halves where
they don't have any.
Well, they refuse to buy a halfback because that will replace his son. And anytime any halfback comes into the team, they immediately get shit canned, but his son doesn't. And so now they're playing a maybe 5'8" as the halfback out of his position, and then his halfback son is playing 5'8" out of position, because if they get an actual halfback, his son's gone, you know, and it's so obvious. It's really crazy. It's a really crazy position, and this is a little bit like the Manly Seagulls situation where, you know, the Dragons made a really, really, really bad decision, and everything is compounding that bad decision from this point on. And so it's bad decision after bad decision at this stage. And, you know, there's nothing you can do other than sack Flanagan and hopefully start again and hopefully go in the right direction, because you can't salvage this situation like you couldn't salvage the Seabold situation.
And look, Seabold was always going to be a rough one as well, because until he has immediate, consistent, strong success anywhere, it could be, you know, the Dapto Canaries. It doesn't matter where it is. Until he gets that, he's going to have that Broncos failure as a noose hanging around his neck forever.
All he did was take over probably the best young team that we've seen in a very long time. People were saying, you know what? Watch for the young Broncos team because they're amazing, and the young Panthers team who are also very, very good. And he took the Broncos and took them to the wooden spoon.
Yeah, remember the Courier Mail? This man will win you a premiership.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
So it's, and the only reason why I bring that up is because it looks like they're starting to finally get some talk of criticism of Flanagan. He's finally being mentioned, and it's taken way too long. He barely ever got criticised when he was the Sharks coach. Barely ever. And the style that he's coaching at now, take all of the other dramas away, right? Just the style of play that he wants his team to perform.
Mm-hmm.
It took like constant, massive roster overhauls to try and finally build the roster that could do it when he was at the Sharks. And when he did, he had the oldest premiership winning roster that's ever been compiled.
Yeah, who are all using supplementation.
And, it was just,
and you can look up the SADA stuff for that. You don't need me to bring it up. And they also broke the salary cap. And
even with that, the style they played was so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
It's just bash and barge through the middle. Every set, one out, kick to the corner. And that was it the whole way through. It was unimaginative football. And it only worked after just bludgeoning teams with it and eventually just getting a hardened pack that rarely got injured, who are able to just keep rolling through that system over and over and over again. And just, you'll remember, watching the Sharks play in that Flanagan period, while they were winning, especially towards the end, around that 2014, 15, or 2015, 16, 17 period, they won more games than they lost. but they were just a boring football team to watch.
Yeah,
it was
they were grinding.
Low percentage football, and it was just uninteresting. It wasn't intelligent play or skillful. It was just bludgeoning teams through the middle and making them just wear them out, basically. He's trying to do the same thing again with the Dragons, but he doesn't have... He did not build the roster to do that.
Yeah, he also doesn't have the other things going in their favour, and I'm sure if you gave the Dragons all that shit, they'd look like world beaters as well. But he doesn't have that, and it's clear that he's just a bad coach. If his team isn't over the salary cap and having Asada freaking out at them, he's just exposed, and you can see that.
He is a dreadful coach. Dreadful. And St. George would have an upgrade if they went and got Anthony Seibold. If they went and got Anthony Seibold and Trent Barrett as their coaching team, they'd have an upgrade over Flanagan. I have such low regard for Flanagan as a coach, and I'm not even taking into account the Asada staff, the salary cap staff. I just think tactically, the way he wants his team to perform, it is the most one-dimensional, uninteresting, uninspiring type of football that you could ever play, and it is just... It's not conducive to creating success long term. And
this was his chance to show he could coach, because when you do what they did at the Sharks, that's not coaching. That's just, we know what that was. And so here's his chance to show he can coach, and he can't fucking coach.
No,
unfortunately.
He is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And I will back any past coach, any English coach, I'll take them over Flanagan any day of the week. I have such little regard for him as a coach. I just do not think he has the mindset or the capabilities, and he has rarely ever shown that he does, to be a NRL type coach. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Could just be me, but that's just... I've just not seen any spark of intellect or knowledge on how to run a threatening attack at all. And I mean, we're seeing that at the moment. Their attack at the moment is dire.
Yeah, it's terrible. So bad.
They are struggling so hard to score points. It's just... The Dragons are a punish to watch at the moment, and I'd hate to be one of their fans at the moment because...
There's just no light at the end of the tunnel for them. They must just be waiting. I thought he was gone after last week's game. I thought that's it. It's over. And apparently not. And, when the big moment is that they're waiting for Lance Stroll. Kyle Flanagan to come back.
Same thing.
Is that what the whole team's about? Are we just Lance Stroll in this whole thing?
Man, so they've got a bye in round 9. And after that bye, things get tough. So in round 10, they've got the Knights, who aren't playing too bad at the moment.
Yeah, they're playing pretty good.
But that's also an achievable victory. Okay.
Yeah.
But then they've got they got 4 of the top sides from last year: Penrith, Warriors, Brisbane, and Cronulla.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And 2 of those games are at Suncorp. That's Penrith and Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
They play the Sharks at Shark Park. Sharks have got a very good record at home at the moment. And they play the Warriors at Cogra Oval. They're a strong chance of losing all 5 of those games.
Yeah.
And if they can't win their next 3, their season is completely done at round 14.
And they need...
completely written off.
Yeah, and look, they just need to sack Flanagan. Drop his son forever. They should never play first grade again. And whoever they bring in, they're not going to win games. They're probably not going to even be there long term. But that's what the money's for. And they've got to say to them, look, just bring in as many young players as you can, see what we've got in the lower grades. We're going to get smashed. Your record as a coach is going to look abysmal. But that's why we pay you quite a lot of money, and that's what they need to do. Whether that's, somebody within the club, somebody outside of the club, that's what they need to do with the rest of this season, because they're not going to do anything this year. That's really clear.
The last time and the only time the St. George Dragons, not St. George Illawarra, started the season with 5 straight losses, 1922.
Jesus.
It's the only time they ever did it. That's what he's done. Even Illawarra, the last time they did it, they only did it twice. Started the season with 5 straight losses, 1983 and 1989. So that's the record he's broken.
Yeah, yeah.
Well done, Flano.
The other thing is too, it's like, man, the players look like they weren't putting in any effort. Like they look like they'd given up, and the crowd was booing them a lot, and they deserved to.
Halftime.
Yeah, and they deserved to. I thought the crowd was going to go off its head at full time, but they didn't as much. And it's over.
They probably left by then, though.
Probably.
But this is how bad it is. They're playing at Cogra Oval, right, last week. They only drew 8,491 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The Sharks drew 5,000 more. They're playing out of an esky at the moment.
Yeah.
That's just... And this is the other thing, okay, is the Dragons also, they haven't lost 5 games in a row against top 5 elite clubs. They lost in Golden Point to the Bulldogs in Vegas. Then they had 2 weeks off. They got humbled by Melbourne, 46-20. Then after that, they played a bunch of teams that were not finalists last year. They lost to Parramatta. They lost to the Titans. And then they got belted by the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, that Titans game, I didn't watch that game. And when I saw the result after the fact, I was like, wow, the Titans won a game this year.
Yeah.
Like,
and now you're looking at it and you're going, are the Titans, as much as they're doing a rebuild and we're expecting them to be dreadfully low on the ladder, are they actually worse than the Dragons?
The Titans don't play like they're disinterested. I'll say that. The Titans are really dumb with a lot of stuff they do, and they're missing big chunks of what should be in a first grade team, but at least they put in a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, so far they've only been belted by the Sharks in round 1. They lost by 4 to the Dolphins, 14 to the Cowboys, and 14 to the Broncos.
Yeah, and look, that game against the Broncos that they had this last weekend, man, there was something about that game. That was a pretty good game.
They're playing with intensity. And that's an important thing, because where they lack in skill or experience, they're making up for it in like long periods of intense football. And something that I've also noticed that the Cowboys started doing 2 weeks ago. If they're not getting the job done, then let's just be intense, especially in defence, and just try and choke the other team out of field position and try and just bully our way back into the game. Yeah. And the Cowboys did that brilliantly against the Storm 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they carried it on last week. And I think the Titans are doing a similar thing.
Yeah. Look, I look at the Titans. I don't know that Campbell's not a halfback. He just isn't. And Campbell is the sort of player that, because I was thinking about it in this game, he's got a lot of talent, but he's the sort of player you got to move on, because he's not really a fullback. He's definitely not a halfback. He doesn't guide the team around the field at all.
He's a 6. He's always been.
Yeah, that's probably where you'd have him. But I think that you could commit to him to the point where you lose your job as a coach, and they desperately need a halfback. They so desperately need a halfback. And if they had a halfback last week, they probably could have got the job done against the Broncos. But, there's just no organisation there in their side, unfortunately.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to push Ilias more as the halfback, because I think he's got more of the workable skill set for that role.
Yeah, I agree. But, he's had a couple of tries at different clubs, and you can't put the Dragons as one of them, because he was never going to unseat Lance Stroll at the halfback role. But he's had a couple of goes at it and it hasn't quite worked out. Maybe he hasn't been given enough of a chance. Maybe just needs to mature as a halfback, which all halfbacks have to do, including the great ones. But I would rather him trying to run the team than Campbell.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I think Campbell would actually be a pretty good 5'8" if he had a good controlling halfback, kind of like, DC in his prime or Cleary or Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, like I take over everything sort of halfback.
Ben Hunt, one of those sort of guys who can actually do all of that and comfortably.
Yeah.
I think if you have one of those as a halfback next to him, Campbell would be phenomenal. And I think the thing that makes him good is he's got a great running game. And by putting him at halfback, you kind of take that away from him. We've had this, I think another good example of someone who's similar to him in style is Nico Hines, who's also got a very strong running game. But Hines has a little bit more of not the entire skill set to be a halfback, but a little bit more of it to work with to make it workable.
Yeah.
And he's been blessed by having a genuinely good controlling half as his 5'8" in Trindle.
Yeah.
So it's workable. And that's the problem that Campbell's had at the Tigers. He hasn't had that genuine controlling halfback next to him. Every time they put someone with experience next to him, it's someone who's an experienced 5'8", which he doesn't need. He needs an experienced 7 next to him.
Yeah.
But I do think though they've made a lot of. I think Hano's doing a pretty good job there. He's making the team competitive, which is the biggest thing. Like you can work off that.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you get the players putting in, especially on the defensive side, that's half the battle. Getting them to buy into effort translates into wins eventually, but maybe not at the start. And you can see it. Like they're better than they were last year, and that's after half of a clean out. So we'll see how we can do after having a whole season with them, and then going forward when he can purchase his own players to bring into the side. But it's a good start for him anyway. It reminds me a little bit of when Benji Marshall took over the Tigers. Like they didn't have the players, but their attitudes changed, the effort level changed, and it's very difficult to get players to buy into, absolutely destroying themselves in that side of the game, and the scorelines don't change too much. But it sets a platform. It changes what is happening at the club. And, it's the long-term thing. And sometimes, and a lot of the times actually, the players that you convince to do that know that they're not going to be there long-term, that they're the ones that are going to get replaced. And that makes it twice as hard, So it's really good when you see a team make that decision.
100%.
It's a good sign.
It is. They're doing everything in the right direction. They're not rushing, but they're also not dawdling either. They're making sure they're doing things at a good pace, and they're doing it all in the right order.
Yeah.
So, Hano's already proven that he's better than Flanagan.
Yeah, it wouldn't be difficult. Let's do one, because we've got 2 emails from Glenn. Let's do the first one.
Ooh.
So Glenn sent an email like about 10 minutes after we posted the episode last week, unfortunately. It was just bad timing.
Is Glenn living with you?
No, he's not. Glenn's not living with me.
Is Glenn your name?
No. That's fun.
Starting to draw a few dots, a few lines together here.
That's pretty funny. Oh, shit. This isn't commercial radio. We don't make up our emails. Okay, so the subject is, this is from last week from Glenn. The subject is Flanagan. G'day, Fergo and the Freak. After what happened with Cole Flanagan on the weekend, do you think we should have seen the last of Cole Flanagan as a starter, and his career will be more as a 14 from now on? So that's after Flanagan got knocked out last week. I just wouldn't have him in the side.
I'll say this. I'm not going to go 100% shitting on Cole Flanagan, because when he was a junior, he was actually quite a talented young halfback.
Mm-hmm.
He made a lot of bad decisions, in my opinion, on changing clubs and where he was going, and he went to a lot of clubs where halfback skill sets weren't being prioritised.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it stunted his growth. And now he's too far into his career to be able to change it back. And so now he's just what he is now. Like, you're not going to be able to fix him. You're not going to make him any better. He's just the way he is. I think another example of that is Luke Brooks,
Mm-hmm.
who probably should have left the West Tigers very early on in his career and gone to a club that was actually going to nurture and, expand his skill set and make him a better player, because he has the skills, he has the tools, but they never got properly, polished and made to work better. Yeah. And so he's just his development just stopped where it was when he first came into grade. And that's just where he is. And Flanagan's kind of the same in that regard. And it really shows you how, good coaching and bad coaching, how much it can impact a player.
Yeah.
And I think those two are good examples of how bad coaching over a long period of time stunts a player's growth so much that they just get to the point where they are what they are and you can't do anything with them anymore.
There's also some dudes that just, they never really get it, It never falls into place for them. Like, they show they've got potential and stuff like that. They maybe have a couple of games where you're like, oh, there it is. But long term, it just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work for them.
Yeah. I think Flanagan under a good coach, though, could have been a vastly better halfback than what he now is.
Yeah.
He's not even at Chad Townsend level anymore.
No. Like, I was thinking like he's a Super League halfback, and then I was like, maybe for like Castleford.
Yeah, I'm not even sure about that anymore, because say what you want about Super League, like the halfbacks still have to be able to push the team around the field.
Yeah.
And given that Super League is less defense oriented than the NRL is, there's more reliance on the halfback being a good aggressive playmaker. So they have to be able to run to the line a bit more.
Yeah.
And Flanagan doesn't have that either. He doesn't take the line on much.
No.
Whereas if you were to take Luke Brooks over to the Super League, he would be one of the best halfbacks over there. Because he does take the line on. But if you're one of these passive halfbacks that just sort of stands and delivers passes and kicks and stuff like that, which is what Flanagan's doing at the moment, he will get pushed down to championship real fast.
Yeah. So the rest of this email. Also from the weekend, keeping in mind it's last weekend, there's been a lot of talk about referees bringing teams back with set restarts. So on the weekend, both Kikau and Galvin got charged with dangerous contact, hip drops. Source the NRL website, and both stayed on the field. 2 hours later, Mitch Kenny does the same tackle and gets sent to the sin bin, and he says not arguing the sin bin. The difference between the two games is one was close and the other was a blowout. Opinion. Good to see Oscar on the podium. Cheers, Glenn.
We were both pretty passionate supporters of the whole 2 referees on the field thing.
Yeah.
And now what they've done, which I find absolutely stupid, is they've sped up the ruck without properly policing it. Yeah. And they've got rid of penalties and just have these set restarts that happen just time and time again. And so everything at the game at the moment, and we see it in NRL, media stuff they put out, is talking about, how much of, ball is in play and how much active minutes are being played on the game and stuff like that. Their focus is making sure that the game doesn't stop. And that's what they've created. And so if you're making the game that fast and that constant the whole time, you are running a very, very big risk of increasing the number of referee mistakes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's the referees who cop the brunt of all of that, when it should be the people who are making the rules at the NRL. Because at the moment, it's getting ridiculous. The fact now that everyone's starting to realise that the set restarts thing has become so out of hand, it's making it, it's taking the competition out of a lot of the games.
Yeah, it's there's games where it starts off and you're like, oh, this is a good arm wrestle. and both teams are really trying to sort each other out, and then the set restarts start kicking in, and that just disappears completely. There was in the Panthers versus Storm game, there was early on, the Storm got absolutely slaughtered on one set by set restarts, or one Panthers position, I should say, with set restarts, and it just killed them. They were never going to keep the Panthers out. And then the Storm got a couple back on the next time they got the ball, and they scored. And then after that, the whistle was put away, and the teams could just sort it out themselves. Unfortunately, Penrith smashed them from that point on. But there's so many times where I see a set restart where I'm really, really focused on what's happening in the tackle, and nothing happens, and it's a set restart. And just because a tackle is slow doesn't mean that the team is slowing down the tackle artificially through foul play. Some tackles are just slow for whatever reason. You get a guy and you absolutely smash him, and everyone's been rattled in the tackle, including the tacklers. The tackle's going to be slow sometimes. It doesn't mean it needs a set restart. And one of the things I love about rugby league is that you're trying to break the other team physically and mentally. And when you're trying to do that and the relief valve just gets popped off randomly by the referee with the set restart, that goes completely out the window,
Yeah.
So, and that's a problem. But there are so many of these I'm talking like at least 60% of the set restarts I watch, and I'm like, I don't know what that was for at all. Well, and I think what we're starting to see in like last weekend is they started calling it for inside the 10 a lot more, because that's harder to kind of keep an eye on, rather than what's in the ruck. And I noticed that last weekend. They just need to cut down way down on how many times they call it, because I think it could be a good tool, but it should be a tool for when there's obvious fucking around in the ruck, when a team is under pressure and they're trying to play the ball down artificially. But it's not being used for that.
No, and look, I think that they shouldn't do back-to-back set restarts in basically the same set. So
yeah,
if you give away a set restart and then 2 tackles later, the referee would normally rule another one for the same infringement. Don't call a set restart. Give away a penalty.
Yes, definitely.
That way you kind of, everyone gets a bit of a rest. But the team who's been impacted, the team who gets the penalty, they also get to make a big march downfield. So it means that the set restart punishes the penalty punishes the team who gave away the penalty harder. Whereas at the moment, a set restart just means, some teams might use it as an opportunity to slow down the play of the ball to get their defenders back on side, especially if it's very early in the set. Who cares if you've got to make one more tackle? So I don't know. I think coaches are starting to find ways around it, and also finding ways to use it to their advantage.
Yeah, and like when I see a team holding down a player and just waiting for the set restart because they know that it's just, say it's the first tackle and they hold them down, wait for their defense to get set because they know it's only a one extra tackle is the penalty, basically. I think that should be a full penalty.
Absolutely. I think they need to start making so that the set restart is only used for very specific reasons, not for a wide range of them. Because at the moment, it's getting to the point where, and I tried to make this point a couple of weeks ago, is it's making possession fluctuate too much. Not to the sense where you've got fluctuations where one team ends up the rest of the end of the game with 62% and the other one's got 38.
Yeah.
It's more that it's in chunks of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're seeing 10 minutes, like one team could have 70% possession, the other one's 30 or worse.
Well, I mean, there's been
later on in the game, it swings back the other way. It's like, this is not how the game's supposed to be. That's basically the sort of way possession works in rugby union.
Yeah, we literally put rules in place to stop that.
Yeah. And now we're trying to go back to that for some reason. It's just a weird, almost anti-rugby league concept.
Yeah, like there's been a bunch of games already this year where they've shown on Fox Sports the last 10 minutes and it's been 100% possession to one team, which is insane.
It's ridiculous. And that is a direct contributor to blowout scorelines.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, if you want to learn more about what's going on with the set restarts and the impact it's having, go to rugbyleagueitest.com because they've been doing a lot of work on there and like drilling down into the data of it and showing the impacts of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fascinating stuff over there. Yeah, I don't like what they've done to the back and forth and the contest.
Yeah,
that's a big problem for me. So I'm hoping that they start to realize the impact it's having and they start to pull back on that.
Yeah, the other thing that gets me too is you get towards the end of the game and it can be a great game and both teams are just, giving their all and the fatigue is kicking in and you get to that moment in the game where it's like both teams are really in a slog and the referee will not adapt to the fact that both teams are just doing their absolute best and it's a contest. They'll be still handing out 6 against like it's the first minute of the game and everyone should be leaping off of the player that's been tackled. I hate seeing that as well.
Yeah, the other one I know they've got too is if you make a dominant tackle, the defenders are allowed to take a little bit more time to get off the ball carrier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rule that makes sense logically on paper, but asking a referee to determine who's the dominant body, the attack or the defense, in every fucking tackle that takes place, you can't tell me that's not opening up the door for, errors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I tell you, the other thing is too, to add to that, you tackle someone around the ankles, and it's increasingly starting to come back in where you tackle someone around the ankles. That's a dominant tackle to me. You shut them down. You need to be given extra time to get off that player and unwrap your arms around them because your arms are trapped underneath them. And what we're seeing is that they're saying, well, leg pull. It's like it's not a leg pull. It's they're just getting off of the play. They shut down with a perfect tackle.
You know what's funny about that too is that specific tackle. So if you do that tackle in the ball carrier's own half of the field, it's basically called a leg pull, and you get a set restart.
Yeah.
But if you do it and they've made a break and they're getting close to your own try line, you make exactly the same tackle, you get penalised and sent to the sin bin.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
You've denied a potential try and gone, why we just award? I went through this before years ago about I thought there was too many penalty tries being awarded or they get awarded too easily.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those things that kind of goes in that direction.
I love a penalty try. And I there was a long time where you just didn't see penalty tries. Like you had to basically kill somebody that was about to put the ball down to get a penalty try, like the 99 grand final,
And the ball had to be like literally 3 or 4 centimeters away from the tallest piece of grass.
Yeah. It was like, now it's like, well, he could have scored here, but back then it was like, well, if he had have died, he could have knocked on still. So we're not going to give it.
Now it's like, oh, look, he was on the same field at the same time as the try line was and the game was being played. So we'll just give a penalty try.
Yeah, there's been a couple this season where I've been like, holy shit, that's a flimsy penalty try. But yeah, I don't mind the ones where you make a break and you really do hold a player down, like and fuck around.
I think we saw one, was it 2 years ago or something like that? And a player was trying to chase through a grubber kick and he got taken out in the run. And they awarded a penalty try to him. It was like, man, that ball could have bounced anywhere. He could have fumbled it. There's too many variables that could have determined whether he was going to score that try anyway. Like, that's too flimsy a justification. Like, sin bin the offending player, absolutely. But a penalty try, I think, is too much. And that was the one that really pissed me off about it all.
I always think that the line is like, as a referee, if you need to be a clairvoyant, then it's not a penalty try. You know?
Yes. Exactly. What else has Glenn said? Was that the end of the first email?
Yeah, that was the first email. So we got the second email. It's a little bit longer. Here's Glenn. The subject is ignore and move. Now I don't read these because the email's coming through to me. I don't read the emails on purpose so that we get the first reaction. So, but I just read the first paragraph of this. It said, "G'day, Fergo and the Freak. Might as well ignore the previous email, as I honestly didn't expect Kyle to miss only 1 week, and thus giving the Dragons halves more of an opportunity to make a claim for the position."
Oh, fuck you, Glenn. We're going to answer it anyway.
Too fucking bad. It's a fucking podcast.
You would tell us what to do, boy.
But please keep emailing us.
Yes.
He says, "The conversation you had last episode about the NRL teams moving. I've had this opinion, Fantasy Rugby League World, basically since the end of the Super League war. In my opinion, the NRL should have told the Dragons they have to move to Wollongong and the Tigers to move to Campbelltown if they wanted to stay in the NRL. The Roosters moved to either the Central Coast or interstate. This then opens the junior bases for the Rabbitohs, the Sharks and the Bulldogs. Also places all teams in a community and raises the prospect of all of these teams developing their own juniors. This also raises my hope that in the future, where all teams are made up of at least 85% juniors and each team is also developing its own country area." That's pretty good. The only problem I would say is with the Central Coast, right? Go to Gosford and go and have a look at how many empty lots there are in Gosford. They don't really have a corporate base there of any kind at all. And up north, you've got the Knights, who are not struggling, but they're run pretty lean. And then below them, you've got a privately owned Manly, who are fucking struggling. And to squeeze a team in between those two in an area that has no corporate base whatsoever is a problem. And their stadium, it's a nice stadium, but it's only 20,000.
As we discussed in the last episode, like you got to basically you should be trying to stretch Manly up to the Central Coast, not Newcastle down there. I think Newcastle's got a big enough area as it is.
Yeah.
Manly needs to take that area on. I agree. I wouldn't be putting the Roosters in the Central Coast. They can go, maybe send them to the South Island of Queensland, of New Zealand, given that Queensland looks like it's going to be getting another team.
I know, we'll get to that in a sec. On F1 podcast, this is still Glenn's email. On F1 podcast, two that you may somewhat find interesting. I know you both said you don't listen to podcasts, but if I could suggest two that you may find of interest, if not completely ignore the next couple of lines. That's funny. Bring back V10s. This podcast goes and takes a look back at races from the V10 era of Formula One. The other is F1 Beyond the Grid, especially when Tom Clarkson interviews former F1 drivers. Cheers, Glenn.
The first one sounds all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just tend to listen to like YouTubers who are just taking the piss because that seems to be more amusing to me.
On YouTube, there's a channel called The Race, and every so often they'll have about 6-minute videos that maybe cover something that just happened, and I'll watch that every so often. But I think that's about it normally.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to have another team in Brisbane, apparently.
So the talk is Ipswich are building a $60 million bid to be the 20th expansion team. I genuinely think that if the NRL does not have a second team in New Zealand very, very soon, they will have dropped the ball in a massive way. I think New Zealand right now is ripe for the picking. Get a team in the South Island. I think that would be the smartest thing they could do. And I don't think we need any more teams in Brisbane.
I think that once people see the new stadium in Christchurch and NRL being played there, I think the penny will drop with a lot of people. And I think that will be the catalyst for a second New Zealand team. My feeling on this news out of nowhere, by the way, this week about a third NRL team in Brisbane, I think it's probably being pushed by broadcasters who they're negotiating with right now for the next TV deal. My guess is broadcasters have said, we'll give you an ungodly amount of money, but we would like another team in Brisbane to do that. And I think that's where this has come out of absolute nowhere. No one was talking about this last week. And now all of a sudden it's on the agenda. I personally don't believe Brisbane needs a third NRL team of its own.
No.
I think that, the Broncos are obviously going great. Like their poor crowds at the moment of 45,000. The Dolphins are still trying to establish themselves, but their crowds are not too bad considering how they're going at the moment.
They also, I mean, this thing too, the Dolphins aren't exactly completely based in Redcliffe, which is where the parent team, I guess, is from, because they still play most of their games in the CBD of Brisbane.
Yeah, but they've also got the capacity to move towards being more of a northern team as well.
They do, but I think the problem we've got is they're that close to Brisbane that you run the risk of having Dolphins fans and Broncos fans coming from the same city. And if we're going to start chucking Ipswich in there as well, as much as Ipswich is west of Brisbane, they're still close enough to Brisbane to start sabotaging that. We don't want to start building up teams via sabotaging one of the biggest teams we have. Like, we shouldn't be trying to make teams that exist smaller.
Yeah.
And that's what we're running. That's the risk we're running here by doing that.
I also think there's a risk of looking at what happens with Sydney and saying, well, that's how cities work. And you've got these areas that are, very, Sydney's weird. Sydney's really weird. And that's because it's so difficult to get around for one. And it's got a lot of kind of unique areas is another thing. And so you can get you can just talk about Western Sydney. And you've got the Parramatta Eels, the West Tigers, and the Penrith Panthers, which are three of the biggest clubs in the entire world. That's weird. That's really, really weird.
Yeah.
And then you've got the eastern side of the Sydney where you got people will be like, Canterbury, eastern side? I'm from fucking Mount Druitt, mate. Canterbury's miles away from me. But you got Canterbury, and you got South Sydney, and you've got St. George, and you got Manly on the North Shore. It's a really kind of a weird place like that. Not all cities are like that. Most cities don't have that sort of, I don't want to call it segregation, but there kind of is like that in a funny way where, in Sydney, you go from Panthers territory to Eels territory. And, I don't think it's like that in most places.
It probably isn't. But I would say in a slightly different way is that we kind of learnt in the past what happens when you have too many teams in a city.
Yeah.
They do start cannibalizing one another.
Yeah.
And I think Brisbane was perfectly, looked after previously. They probably had just enough to be able to have a second team there in the Dolphins. And I don't think you would want to have any more there at all. I think we need to start going to new areas. That's why Perth was a good idea. Papua New Guinea was a little bit left field, but I'm not opposed to it. I think a South Island team in New Zealand, that's generally an expansion area because the South Island in New Zealand has traditionally long been rugby union territory. But I genuinely do believe that you could make rugby league work there, 100%. But we should be going to areas where the talent isn't being represented at the moment by a local side.
Mm-hmm.
And Brisbane has its own. It's got the Queensland Cup. It's already got teams playing in Ipswich in a decent competition, and they've got 2 NRL teams, 3 if you want to throw the Titans in there. So
Mm-hmm.
they've got teams that they can access there. Junior players in Ipswich have a pathway to the NRL.
Yeah.
Do junior players in Adelaide or Christchurch have that?
No.
And
not a straightforward one anyway.
No, that's right, and that's what we should be trying to fix.
Yeah. And look, I think that if we had a team in Christchurch, they're playing out of an indoor stadium, brand new, by the way. I think that would be a bit of a jewel in the crown for rugby league, and it would be absolutely amazing. it'd help. I think it would help the Warriors. People talk about, oh, what about the Warriors? I think it would actually help the Warriors a lot. And it'd be great for rugby league in New Zealand. It'd be great for the pathways of rugby league in New Zealand.
And the islands.
Islands. Yeah, true. So that's the way I would go. But as I said, I think the broadcasters have said to the NRL, you know what, we would really like it if you had a third Brisbane team. And I think that's where all of this talk has come from, out of nowhere.
And I wonder how much of that is based on news by the Australian government recently about cutting back hard on gambling advertising.
Possibly. I mean, I don't think. Remember when, and like when they got rid of tobacco sponsorship in rugby league, and who doesn't love a cigarette? I don't smoke, but I just think it's funny to just be a podcaster who tries to push cigarette and you get nothing out of it. I don't smoke at all.
What's the thing is that when they banned the cigarette advertising, though, the only cigarette advertising I think we had in the game there was two of them. So the game was sponsored by Winfield.
Yeah.
And the prominent rugby league award was by Rothmans.
Yeah.
The Rothmans one's easy to replace. You can name it after a former player, another sponsor, doesn't matter. The Winfield one after the major sponsor for the competition was the tougher one. And they did bounce around for a while before they landed on Telstra. You remember they had Optus and...
They had Optus.
They then went with a few, a consortium of sponsors where they just get a whole heap of them to try and lessen the load on the major one. You had FI Insurance and Ansett and all these other ones all joining in together.
That's right.
Make
Ansett.
the major sponsors smaller, like the cost they had to pay.
But when it happened, and look, everyone knew that sponsorship of tobacco was on the way out, so they had a chance to get ready for it. But when it happened, there was a lot of talk of like this is going to kill the game, because that was, and this is going to kill the game thing only died off in the last 5 years, which is kind of funny. But that was one thing that was going to kill the game. And then when the taxes were raised on poker machines, this is going to kill the game. No game will never be the same again. And there's always something that comes along that this will be the end of the game. This is the first time that something like this happened, and the corporate media hasn't said, this is going to kill the game, which was good to see. But because so much money comes through just through TV, like, look, the NRL could let people into games for free and have no sponsors on jerseys, and the TV alone would be enough to keep it going at a really, really good level.
Yeah, it's in rude health. That's how you want it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised after this decision has been brought down that we just see every single sponsor in the game just being Ponzi coins.
Well, you could end up going down that road, hey? I mean, there's always going to be some weird thing, though, that's going to come out and sponsor shit. And, you just go with it. You take the money while it's there and kind of get on with it, I guess.
Yeah. How are you going with our Ponzi coin? Remember we were going to do our one called Pump and Dump coin?
The Pump and Dump.
Yeah. P&D.
The old P&D.
The old P&D.
Yeah.
Like we figured if we just went straight bat with the advertising and just made sure everyone knew what it was.
Yeah.
You can't come after us if we do exactly what we said the coin is. That's on you.
You don't understand. This is a scam. You are going to lose your money.
Yeah.
And we are going to take your money, and you're going to be left with nothing and very upset and angry and out of pocket. That's the whole point of what we're doing here.
This is only about our wealth, not yours.
Yeah.
It's called crypto. This coin is a crypto scam.
Yeah. Remember I was going to use my 3D printer to print off physical coins and just send them to people.
That sounded fantastic.
Yeah, that would have been good. So the Brisbane team, I think it's about the broadcasters, and I wouldn't be shocked if it moved ahead very quickly because of that. But yeah, it's not what we need, and I think that we desperately need a team in Christchurch. But I think that, as I said, when there's a game there, people will see it and they'll be like, holy fuck, what are we doing not playing here every weekend?
Yeah. Right. Well, what else has been going on?
Well, Andrew Abdo has apparently gone over to England, the poor dude.
Yeah. Well, he's gone to where every other South African goes to play cricket.
Yeah. Well, if he's landed in London, he wants to see what it's like to be in an Asian city. So
I was going to say, he's got off the plane and they've automatically just handed him a cap to play in the next Ashes series.
Yeah, probably.
I don't even know what cricket is. Doesn't matter, mate. You're South African. You'll be great.
How does Sir Abdo sound? You just have to win one series.
Just one game.
Yeah.
Can you score 10 runs?
Remember when they shut down their streets because they won a fucking Ashes series? That was fucking hilarious. Anyway, so he's gone over there, and apparently it's about the NRL trying to take over Super League. And the funny thing is that he's gone over, he's talked to the people that are really important, which is the broadcasters. And that's freaking a lot of people out in Super League because they're like, but I'm the important person here. Didn't you realise? I even brought a jacket. So I found some of the reaction to that very funny because when it comes to what needs to be changed in Super League, everyone over there, their opinion is everything needs to change except for my team. My team doesn't need to change at all. And so the reactions have been pretty funny to see everyone panicking because the NRL's talking to the broadcasters, seeing what they are interested in, and then basically with the thought of they're going to turn around and do whatever the fuck they want to English Rugby League. And I'm here for it because if the NRL does this, it means that I was right the entire time.
For how many years?
Oh, at least 20, more than 20, you know. So
you're playing the long game.
And if we don't do it, then English Rugby League dies.
And then you're right again.
Exactly. So it's win-win from my point of view. So I just want any English fans that are listening to know you're welcome.
Try to tell you.
I was saying it. I was saying it this whole time.
Oh, what more can you do? It's a community service you're providing.
I tried to be nice in the beginning. Not really. I was quite aggressive with how I said it. But it's going to be interesting when the NRL takes over and all these English fans, because the way they say it is just the NRL is going to pour money, our money. They're just going to take it over there and just pour it into all these clubs, and they'll be able to keep doing all the stupid shit they do. And it's going to be funny when the NRL says, we're going to start 6 new clubs in cities and we're going to keep 4 of the current Super League teams. And you're going to have all these people saying, oh, well, my team's important because it's like, no, we're just taking teams that are in cities.
Yeah. The ones that we know will survive.
Yeah. Not towns, cities. I wonder who's going to be the first Super League owner that says, I'm about to lose my investment, or I can take my team and move to a city and be guaranteed survival and my investment goes up, because it's going to happen.
Derek.
You reckon Derek? I think he would be the last one. I think he'll be the last to do that shit. I think it'll be someone like Castleford or Huddersfield, Wakefield, someone like that.
I want to see what happens to the hand-wringing that goes on when the NRL comes out and says, right, we're going to save your game. We're going to pump all this money to it. Everyone goes, yes, that's what we do. That's great. So, right, we now need 9 of your teams to all merge.
Yeah. It's going to be strange.
Yeah,
you know?
and furthermore, the comment says, if you can't do it on your own, we will just do it.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of what the NRL can do. They can say, oh, you don't want to do that? That's fine. We will just start a new franchise. And the funny thing was, I was seeing people say, oh, these clubs aren't franchises. Super League clubs are literally set up with nothing else below them. They are literally franchises.
Yep.
They've been franchises for a century.
Yep.
They're not clubs like what we've got over here. So, teams don't want to change their name to Manchester. That's cool. We'll just start a Manchester club. Just be quicker and easier. Hey?
The Manchester Bears.
Imagine that.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be interesting, though, because it's going to put a lot of noses out of joint, and the NRL doesn't care because they just keep going forward anyway.
That's right.
So, congratulations, everyone. We did it. I've said this for a long time. The only problem with English Rugby League are the English people.
Wasn't that a famous quote about Scots people back in the, 1500s or 1600s, something like that? One of the English kings said the problem with Scotland is it's full of Scots.
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
How wrong was he? The Scots weren't the problem all along.
Yeah, that's true. Although...
I may be biased in that given my surname.
True.
All right, well, now we've got all the big news out of the way. Let's jump into this week's NRL games. Where's my stats? Here they are.
Yeah, so the first game, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, who are on a bit of a rough trot at the moment, they have an easy match against the Penrith Panthers.
So Penrith have won 13 of their last 16 games against the Dogs, and that's since the 2016 final series. And here's an interesting one. The Bulldogs have scored 173 points in the last 10 games. Penrith have scored 164 in their last 4 games.
Jesus. With how clunky the Bulldogs' attack is, I just think that Penrith are going to shut them down, and that will be it. I also think that Panthers will go straight through the middle of the Bulldogs' pack.
I think a good result here for the Dogs is Penrith wins by 32-0.
Really? Wow. I was going to say I could see it being like about, 26-10 with Penrith just looking like they're in cruise control.
Do you think the Dogs can score 10 points against that Panthers defence?
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think if they're lucky, they'll keep Penrith to 5 tries.
Yeah. Penrith are just so red hot at the moment.
If recent form is any guide, Penrith should be going close to 80 points in this game.
If Penrith put 40 plus on, it wouldn't be shocking at all. Yeah,
I think Penrith are doing that one by a very large margin.
Yeah.
Dragons versus Manly. The Dragons have won 8 of their last 19 games in Wollongong. However, they have won 10 of their last 12 games against Manly there.
Man, look, you can't tip anyone but the Seagulls in this one. It's kind of weird that they're only a couple of weeks away from each other's position.
Yeah.
You got to go for the Seagulls. The Dragons are hopeless, and they're getting Kyle Flanagan back, so they'll be even worse.
Yeah, dizzy Kyle Flanagan too.
Yeah, Lance Stroll.
Broncos Cowboys. Brisbane have won their last 6 games against the Cowboys with an average score of 33-17, and Cowboys have won just 8 of their last 24 games at Suncorp Stadium since 2013.
Tell you what, if the Cowboys were going to win a game, this would be it.
I like the way the Cowboys are playing the last 2 weeks.
They've been all right, and the Broncos have lost basically all of their playmakers for this one, and they're out for a long time, all of them. My brain says I should tip the Cowboys, but my guts are telling me that the Broncos will beat them. I feel like the Cowboys are going to go back to their old habits at some point.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to tip the Cowboys.
I thought they were going to go back to their old habits last week, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go Cowboys in this one.
Yeah. Kind of have to. You just have to.
You do. Next one, Rabbitohs versus Raiders. Now, I want to say, 8 months ago, South had just won. They just won a game, I think it was against the Titans, to end a 9-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
While the Raiders were about to have a bye, which put them at the top of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it amazing how much changes in the space of 8 months in rugby league?
I reckon, hey. This game's over in Perth,
Yes.
and I'm tipping the Rabbitohs. I think they've looked pretty good. I think that I said before the season, Wayne Bennett is going to lift the floor on this team. They're not going to be world beaters, but they're going to be pretty damn good, and they're pretty damn good. And the Raiders, I mean, they're the Raiders. This is the Raiders. They haven't got a soft draw this year, and they're getting found out.
Canberra have won 11 of the last 15 games against South since 2014, including the last 4, all of which saw Canberra score at least 32 points. Now, that's the historical stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's look at now and why this also, like the Flanagan stuff, hasn't been mentioned by the mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
Canberra have lost 7 of their last 8 games, conceding an average of 33.8 points per game.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, Ricky Stewart just needs a bit more time at the Raiders. That's all it is.
He's been unlucky.
Yeah, just give him another 15 years or so.
Yeah,
he'll get it. He'll get there.
Lock him in now.
Yeah, look, he's a really, really good coach. If you just don't watch footy and you just don't look at any of it and you don't look at what happens when it matters, he's a great coach.
All right, next is the Sharks versus the Roosters. This match actually will be the 60-year and 9 days anniversary of Cronulla's first ever premiership game, which they also won, which was also against the Roosters.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. They've also won 4 of their last 6 games against the Roosters. And the last time Cronulla lost in Perth was in 1996.
Oh, wow.
And they've won all 4 games there since. And the last time the Roosters lost in Perth was 1994, and they've won just their 2 games there since then.
I am going for the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I think against everyone that's not called Penrith, they're pretty damn hard to beat. And at the Roosters, I just think that they're an aberration. I think that I don't understand the media's obsession with them being a great team. I don't think they're a finals team at all.
Yeah, it's interesting via the bookies. The Roosters are favourites for this game, just.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, they've had the weekend. They had last week off with the bye, but I just don't think it's close.
There's little things that the Sharks attack has picked up on and improved since that game against Penrith. Hines is running the ball more. He's engaging the defenders better. And their middle forwards are making easy meters through the middle against anybody at this stage.
Yeah. Look, I think they're a really good team. I think that they're, like we talked about in our pre-season thing, like they're a really good team. It's just, if you took Penrith out of the competition, you'd be saying, oh, the Sharks, maybe they could win it this year.
Penrith's toughest win this year was against Cronulla. They only won that game by 20 points.
Yeah.
They won all the others by more than that.
Yeah.
So Sharks skipped them to 26. It's not by fluke that either. The Sharks are a genuinely very handy side.
Yeah, and they've got the cohesion there. They just look really well set.
That's right. Now, here comes the tough one. Because Storm versus Warriors. So the last time Melbourne were 11th on the ladder or worse this late into the season, so round 5 or later, was during the 2010 season when they were playing for 0 points. Prior to that, it was round 5, 2004.
Wow.
Melbourne have won their last 17 straight games against the Warriors since 2016 with an average score of 34-13. Now,
Jesus.
I did have one more stat which was interesting as well. Where was it? Since Craig Bellamy was coach in 2003, Melbourne have bounced back from a 20-plus point loss with a win the very next week on 23 of 31 occasions.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I was
going to say, I'll say this first. Okay, I want to get this out.
Okay.
The Storm attack for the last 2-3 weeks has been fucking shit.
Yes, right? It has been.
It's been out of sync. It hasn't been properly working well. and it's just been a mess. Their defence has been passable for most of the game, but not all of it. Penrith, though, exploited the bits that wasn't good, and they absolutely hammered it because that's what they do. The Warriors have been battling along with injuries to their halves all season and been doing very well. I have absolutely no clue what the hell's going to go on in this game.
My brain says, like, the Storm, you should, this is what I'm thinking, right? You pick the Warriors in this game, right? But then everything I know about rugby league says the Storm are going to fucking whip them.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I'm picking the Storm. The Storm, I haven't thought that they looked good from the very first game. Even when they smashed Parramatta, I was like, they're vulnerable in areas. And their forwards are not good. Their backs make too many mistakes. You know, it doesn't leave their halves much to do. I mean, Penrith shut down Harry Grant last game. Hey, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Harry Grant went from being on fire to like they just turned him off. It was crazy. But yeah, so I'm looking at the Storm and I'm like, they don't look good at all. But I just can't tip the Warriors against the Storm. I just can't do it. I'm not doing it. You can't make me.
I'm going to.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm going to.
No. Fuck you.
That's it. Next game, Eels versus Titans. Parramatta have won 9 of their last 11 games against the Titans.
Yes.
And the Titans have won 8 of their last 33 games in Sydney since 2019.
This is going to be wet weather game because the Eels are still fucking crying.
I want to see the Titans win this game so bad, but I don't think they'll get it done.
Part of me wants to tip them, hey. But I know if I tip the Titans at about 2:30 on Sunday, I'll be like, you fucking idiot. You tipped the Titans? You fucking dumbass. So yeah. I'm gonna have to tip the Eels, I think.
And the last one, Tigers versus Knights.
It's going to be so good, this game.
The Tigers have been in first or second place on the ladder going into a game on just 13 previous occasions since 2000.
Wow.
8 of those 13 occasions were in 2000. They have only won 2 of those 13 games. And both of those were in the year 2000, and both of them were against the Northern Eagles, the team that no longer exists.
Wow.
The Knights have won 7 of their last 8 games against the Tigers, and the Tigers have won just 2 of their last 17 games at Campbelltown since 2021.
Holy shit.
Everything says the Tigers will lose this, so I'm picking them.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick the Tigers. Have they named Luai this week? Let's have a look.
I don't believe they did.
No, they didn't, because he was saying he might be ready this week, and that was a bit of a shock to me. So they haven't named him. I still think I'm going to tip the Tigers. They're playing very well. The Knights are playing very well as well. It's second versus third, which is kind of crazy.
The Knights actually have been playing not just very well. They are far exceeding anyone's expectations at the moment. I think they are exceeding expectations more than any other team is. Given how poor they played last year, and given that they were without their 2 marquee signings, they are still scoring points comfortably and still winning games.
Yeah, it makes you think about where they spent their money, hey? That they're playing this well without those players.
Yeah.
And like, that's $3 million, literally, of their salary cap that's not out there just with those 2 players.
And look, they haven't been hugely tested by absolute elite teams.
No.
But they haven't been playing against absolute dogs of sides either. They beat the Cowboys, who, as we've seen, you don't know which Cowboy side you're going to get.
No.
Manly, much the same, very erratic side.
Yep.
They lost to the Warriors. They're a good team. They beat the Bulldogs. They put
it on the Bulldogs too. Yeah. Like, they punched them in the mouth.
And last week they slapped around Canberra, beat them by 20.
Yep.
So, I think they're proven that they deserve to be where they are on the ladder.
Yeah.
And they are playing genuinely good football. They've got the Roosters next week, then Penrith, and then South.
Fucking Penrith looming over everyone like a fucking nightmare. It's so weird.
Well, as I said to you in the group chat the other day, is that the Penrith's first loss, everyone was asking when it was going to be, and I said it's going to be round 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
State of Origin.
State of Origin, and they're playing the Tigers, so they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because they struggle against the Tigers for whatever reason.
It's very strange. It is weird, though, to be like, we talk about the season, it's like, oh, they play this team, and then everyone just goes, and then they play Penrith. Like they say in that sort of way, like, oh, the poor bastards.
Well, see, I did put out another stat during the week.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Penrith would have put 50 points and a 40-point winning margin on Melbourne before they did it to the West Tigers?
Yeah, that is a strange one.
But
I saw that.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And go through here just some of the scores. As much as Penrith have won the majority of their games against the Tigers since 2014,
yeah,
very rarely have they come out and absolutely flogged the Tigers.
And like you and me have been, like how many times have we done this podcast and we've been like, oh man, they're gonna score 70 against the Tigers.
Yeah.
Like we've waited for it.
It was from 2019, okay? I'll never forget the first game here. 2019, Penrith beat the Tigers 9-8 in arguably the worst game of football I've seen in about 300 years. Then later on that year, the Tigers beat Penrith 30-4. 2020, Penrith won both games, 19-12, 30-6. 2021, the Tigers won 26-6 and Penrith won 30-16. 2022, Penrith won 18-16. 2023, Tigers won 12-8. 2024, Penrith won 22-6. Last year, Panthers won 18-14 and 36-2. And then, yeah, I think Tigers won the trial against them this year, 26-12 in the trial. Who gives about trials? But still, it's
you just had about 30 million English people lost their minds at you saying that.
But it just shows that as much as Penrith have been getting the wins on the board, they've hardly been dominant about it or convincing about it. There's only like 2 or 3 wins in that list we've done since the West. I know the years that the Tigers were wooden spooners.
Yeah, it's been really weird. Really, really weird.
It's an odd sort of thing. And, the Tigers didn't have Luai with them all those years. He was playing against them half the time. It was just weird how some teams, they've just got a team that they just, for whatever reason, they struggle to put away or they can't quite get on top of.
Yeah.
And, the Warriors have that problem with Melbourne. They can't beat them for whatever reason.
Yep.
Penrith are getting the wins against the Tigers, but they struggle with it.
Yeah, it's very strange, and it makes you wonder how it would play out once if the Tigers can make the finals, and I think they're going to. I said that before the season too.
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't. I picked them before the season. It'd be cool to see them play like at the big stadium in Sydney, Accor Stadium, in a finals match. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. It would be very, very good. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes this week. The Tigers forwards have been playing very, very good, and that's a big part of what's helping them along.
They're really missing Luai. Like last week, they were desperately missing Luai, and they managed to get the chocolates anyway. But like, there were so many times where I thought if Luai was out there, they score. I think if Luai had played, that game wouldn't have been close.
Yeah. I tend to agree. Madden, though, did play very well.
Yeah, he's playing good.
I don't know. I look at Adam Dewey. I like Adam Dewey as a player. I don't think he's a halfback. I think he's a very handy 5'8".
Yeah.
And he's a very decent centre.
Yeah.
And he's NRL quality in both those roles. But I don't think he's a halfback. No. Madden, though, was very good. So it was good to see that, the Tigers have a little bit of depth that can still get them the results that they need. That's kind of what you want to get.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is too with Dewey, like because Luai is so good and can he can do so much. We've talked about it when he plays for Samoa. He can play 5'8" and halfback and hooker, all in the same play. Because he can do all those things, Dewey can just sort of be there as a defensive player and a hole runner, and so that works for them.
It's not too different to the situation that the Sharks have got, where they've got the player who's probably more skilled to be the halfback playing at 5'8". Dewey though is, I find he's one of those guys who's just a competitor from start to finish, and every team needs them. Like I think the Souths have got two of them at the moment. They've got Jai Gray and Tallis Duncan.
Yeah.
I mean, those two, they just go from start to finish. They just don't stop. They keep putting in the whole way. And I think Dewey's in that same field. And that makes up for, if there's any skill shortages, that effort and that intensity to keep going will always get you across the line, always get you a spot in the NRL side. I think that's why they try and find ways to get Dewey in there, because he is one of those players. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting match.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's been so many fun NRL games. Like I know we've talked about the 6 again calls and stuff, and there's been some blowouts, but there's been some really fun games too. Like that game between the West Tigers and Parramatta was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, it's more fun games coming up this weekend, and it's going to be awesome. I've just really enjoyed this season so far. I know there's been things to complain about, and look, my team's fucking flogging everyone, so I'm going to enjoy it. But there's been other games where I've really just had fun watching them. Like I had fun watching that Knights versus Eagles game in Manly. I thought that was a lot of fun. There's just so many good games so far.
Yeah. Also worth noting that the total attendance for the NRL so far this year is currently sitting at 880,000. So it's almost about ready to crack a million. It'll go very close to that by the end of this week. Super League in comparison, they've played a few more extra rounds. They've just gone past 520,000.
Well, it's because they're all families, though, Andrew. All they target is families.
So at the moment, the average NRL crowd is 22,565.
Yep.
And the average Super League crowd is 11,082, so half.
And they lie through their teeth about their crowds.
Yeah. Let's just go through and quickly recap what happened in the Super League last weekend.
Okay.
Oh, the Derby. Hull KR beat Hull FC 24-6.
Whoa, it's the biggest derby ever.
And then the other derby, St Helens beat Wigan 34-24.
It's not a real derby.
Leeds beat Bradford 24-12. Huddersfield beat York 34-14. Warrington beat Lee 42-6. Catalan beat Toulouse 33-26. And Wakefield Trinity beat Castleford 34-0. It's a derby weekend.
Derby.
All local derbies.
It brought people in from all over the fucking little towns.
Yeah. The Saints Wigan game drew just under 18,000. That was the biggest one of the week. And Huddersfield,
was that it? That would have been in Wigan, yeah.
It was at Brewdog Stadium, so it was in St Helens.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah.
Well, that makes sense because the most popular team in St Helens is Wigan.
That's right. And Huddersfield York drew 4,172.
Okay.
It was in the heart of rugby league, though, so
yeah,
whatever that means. Challenge Cup quarterfinals are on this weekend in the Super League. Saints play Catalans, Hull KR plays York, Warrington plays Lee, and Wakefield plays Wigan.
Nice. Always good betting opportunities, the Challenge Cup.
I like the fact that the Wakefield Wigan game is going to be played at the Do-It-Yourself Kitchen Stadium.
They got some weird sponsors over there.
Oh, it's always been amazing. As I said,
and look, a sponsor is a sponsor, but for some reason they have some really weird sounding ones.
Some of them have just got really good names. So, Castlewood's home ground Weldon Road, formerly known as the Jungle for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's now called the One Bore Stadium.
Oh man, it sounds.
That's not bad.
Like
that's not a bad name for the team to sit on the bottom of the ladder.
One Bore Stadium. Sounds like the dating opportunities in Castleford.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you caught up on all of that.
Yeah, it was all very exciting.
You'll cross all of that.
Hey, one of the things I brought up during the week on Twitter was that we've got this crazy good Panthers team, and State of Origin's just around the corner. And why don't we just pick as many Panthers as we can under the rules and just fill in the gaps after that? You would have thought I'd said, let's just fucking run out the Gold Coast Titans. People went crazy. All of a sudden, Mitch Moses turned into Wally Lewis for some fucking reason. I don't know why. So weird. And Nathan Cleary turned into fucking Lance Stroll.
I was saying Mitch Moses.
Yeah. It was so weird seeing people saying, oh, we've tried that before. It's like, no, we literally haven't tried that before. And then Nathan Cleary, we tried that under Fittler. Like they played exactly like Penrith under Brad Fittler. And it's like, we really didn't. Did you watch the games? Like, remember you and me were watching the game saying like, what the fuck is this? The halfbacks aren't even seeing each other during the game.
Yeah, there was zero cohesion. There was no game plan in place at all.
Yeah, it was so weird.
I've long argued that if we're going to be serious about playing, Origin and being strong and competitive, that we need to pick players that are in the teams that are in the top 8.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, we were picking players that were in teams in the bottom 3 or 4 on the ladder just because they were there last year.
Yeah.
They're at the bottom of the ladder for a reason. Stop picking them. Pick players who are actually in form and in successful teams. They know what winning is like.
Yeah. And I just don't understand how you can have like a it'd be like going back to when the Dragons were dominant and you got to pick a New South Wales team and you're like, yeah, but they're in the system. Yeah. They're club players. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a generation of the greatest winners we've ever seen. And you don't want to pick them to win a game of football? Are you fucking stupid? And that is the arguments that I was getting. Yes. Is that like, why would you pick all these Panthers players? They're system players, which is the funniest shit ever. System players.
Well, I will say, I think your idea is absolutely nuts. I think we need to be picking the New South Wales team entirely from all of the teams in the top 2 on the ladder.
Well, look, can you imagine, like, with how Luai started this season, right? I know he was injured last week, but with how incredibly he's playing. And on top of that, he has also got a winning background. And on top of that, his halves partner in State of Origin, he's probably played more football with than most players have ever played football with another player.
Yes.
And there will be people that will say, why would you pick Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary in the halves for New South Wales? And it's like, in what fucking universe do you not pick them?
Look at who we're choosing here, okay? Fullback, we're picking between Jerome Buller or Dylan Edwards.
Yeah. This will work.
Right. In the back line, you've got Alamotti, Jenkins, McLean, and Tuo, as well as Taruva, Taylor May, Makasini, Luke Laualili, who else? Gerald Skelton. All right. You pick from those. You're going to find someone. In the halves, you've got Blaze Talangi, Nathan Cleary, Adam Dewey, Jerome Luai. I'm sure you can find at least 2 decent halves out of that lot.
Probably.
In the front row, Terrell May, Fanua Pole, Moses Leota, Lindsay Smith.
Well, Moses Leota's a Kiwi. He doesn't count.
That's okay. Well, there's enough left over. At hooker, Mitch Kenny or Api Coruscant. Second row, you got Samuela Fainu, Kai Pearce-Paul. Well, he's British.
Yep.
Garner, Papali'i. I think he's Kiwi as well, is he?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll find someone. And that lock, you got Twal or you've got Yo. And then on the bench, you've got I mean, these are the other players that have played for both sides. You've got Scorenson, Cogger, Going, Phillips, Martin, Lussick, Sione Fainu, Royce Hunt, Alex Seyfarth, Tristan Hope, Tavana, Madden, and Latu Fainu. You can get an Origin side out of that.
There is a little bit in there of like between LeBron James and Bronny James. They're the greatest scoring father and son duo in the league's history in the NBA. But like my hooker rotation would be Appy and Mitch Kenny. Like, and I don't know why you wouldn't pick those two as your hooker rotation in Origin. I had Luke Garner in my team, and people were like, Luke Garner is an Origin player. It's like, okay, you've got this guy who is an extremely mobile back rower that is the cohesion is off the charts with the players that'll be around him, and he can cover the center position if you really need him to. Like, that's pretty fucking handy. Like that, like I kind of like those things in Origin, but especially when you put them in the team context of like, let's just play this lockdown defense, and I just pick as many Panthers and former Panthers as possible. It's a generation of winning players. I don't know why you wouldn't pick them all.
That's right. It just go from those two squads first. Fill in all the spots you think, yeah, you know what, this is good enough. This will get the job done, and then whatever gaps are left over, or if you think there might be one player somewhere else here or there, they can come in and fill whatever gap, and we can juggle around with the last few spots.
Like Leota can't. It doesn't qualify, right? So you put Payne Haas in his position.
That's like, right. That's the sort of thing you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that of everything we've tried for New South Wales, maybe we should try and pick the players that keep fucking winning everything.
It'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
it's something I've argued about for a long time.
Yeah.
Because New South Wales have been doing this thing of picking, past experienced players because they know how they're Origin players and going, yeah, you know what? Who gives a fuck if you're an Origin player and all you've done is had one win and 19 losses? That's an Origin loser, not an Origin player.
I saw somebody said to me that we had to pick Latrell Mitchell, and I love Latrell Mitchell as a player, but I'm like, I think I'm ready to move on from that. Yeah, I'd rather have Casey McLean for sure.
Latrell's been playing solidly, and he needs to. But I think at the moment, he would be wise to give rep footy a skip just for this year and get back to playing a full season, playing consistent and getting better as the season goes on. And if he does that this year, next year, I would automatically put him in the state side and the test side.
Yeah.
But I want to see him do that now. Because, I'm like you. I think he's he's not a generational talent, man. He's a once-in-a-century type talent. But injuries and whatever else has meant that he just hasn't put together a strong, consistent season since he left the Roosters. And that's a long time now.
Yeah, exactly.
So he needs to show that he's still got it and he can still do it. And I think that's what this year should be for him. Forget everything else. Just go out there and win games for South.
Yeah, I tell you, the other thing that I got a lot of feedback on was like, I have to pick Cam Murray over Yo. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are we doing here? Like, this isn't even close. This is not a discussion. And I had people saying, oh, Yo tries to play like a playmaker when he's playing Origin. It's like, because he's a fucking playmaker.
Yeah, he's got the skill set.
Yeah.
Absolutely has a skill set. And you need that link man in the middle who can drift a little bit wider as well and still be effective.
Yeah. Oh, and the weird thing is he also has the go forward. Like, his go forward is crazy.
Yeah, he's a weird rangy thing. I'd hate to fucking tackle him.
He must be so strong.
So I just look at him and he just reminds me so much of Luke Lewis as a second row. Like, just all bones and legs and knees. You're like, oh, I don't want to tackle that. Like, I need a soft, cushy bit in the middle somewhere. And he's just got none of that. It's just his raw, massive pain.
Yeah, it's weird when, like, he's a bit like Taumalolo in his prime, where it's like, it's weird when you see him actually taken to the ground. He's normally ends up standing in tackles after making like 12 meters straight through the middle,
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But that's like heading towards Origin, that would be my plan. You pick literally every single Panthers player that qualifies, and then you fill in the holes. and see what happens.
Now, there was two other things I wanted to raise just out of just for my own amusement more than anything else.
Okay.
It looked like Luke Garner was channeling his inner Nigel Plum last week. He had tape everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm fucking here for that. I say more tape.
Yeah.
And was it Grant Atkins, the referee in the Sharks Warriors game?
I can't remember. I really don't focus on the referees. I focus on this.
He had a phenomenal mo going on. I was looking at it going, man, that looks like a Freddie Mercury, the big, thick Freddie Mercury mo from the 80s. Oh, man, that thing was just, that was beefy. That was a girthy mo.
If you think about the Mo Hall of Fame, like Tom Selleck is definitely in it.
Oh, yeah.
Don Fry from the UFC and Dan Severn is another old fighter from the UFC.
Severn.
They both had like just top level mows. You got to put Freddie Mercury in there. You just have to.
Yeah.
And then after that, like who would be
Merv Hughes?
Yeah, Merv Hughes. That's a good one.
David Boone.
That's a good one. Paul Tuttle Sr. out of American Chopper. He had the Fu Manchu, but I mean, it wasn't a traditional one. But if we're going Merv Hughes,
Yeah, you want something that's iconic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who else would you put in there? You can't.
Oh, Nigel Mansell?
Yeah, that's a really good one. David Boone.
Yeah, I said Boone before. Yeah, he's a classic.
Sorry. Yeah. Who else? This is really good listening, hey?
World's greatest mows. Let's see if we've got any on here.
Okay.
This has not been helpful at all. It's just
a
bunch of people who were called Mo.
No, put in moustache.
I was trying to do it quickly so we didn't have people listening to me doing a Google search.
The one that you can't put down is Hitler, because he had the Hitler moustache. You can't use that one. The only person that's ever tried to sport the Hitler moustache since Hitler was Michael Jordan sported it for a tiny little bit, but he got rid of it.
Here we go. The world's greatest moustaches, according to whatever this website is, 55.
Okay.
Salvatore Dali.
I don't know who that is.
There's an artist. Tom Selleck, okay. Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, that's a pretty good one, but that's close to the Hitler one. You can't do that.
Hulk Hogan.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. Prince.
No.
Borat.
Yeah, I mean Borat, yeah.
Albert Einstein.
I don't know.
What else have we got here? Man, some of this is crap. Reynolds, it's got Channing Tatum.
But tell you what, Burt Reynolds wasn't bad.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
No,
that's what I thought too. Colin Farrell, Cuba Gooding Jr., Eddie Murphy.
His was pretty good.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
He was pretty good.
Genghis Khan.
Oh, man, come on.
George Clooney.
No.
Groucho Marx.
Yeah, his was actually really good.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx.
No.
Johnny Depp.
No.
Martin Luther King.
His was very good as well. Yeah, his was really good.
Nicolas Cage.
You know what? At one point, he had a really good one.
Orlando Bloom.
No.
Ron Burgundy from Anchorman.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I don't think so.
I'm not going to say no, though.
Yeah, he's had so many looks. Like it's...
Sean Connery?
Yeah, Sean Connery, yes.
There's a bunch of other ones which were just stupid, so I didn't bother reading them, like Zac Efron.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. You see, the thing about having one of the top class modes, it should be the first thing. You walk in a room and everyone should go like, damn.
Yeah.
And it's just all mo. Everyone just wants, yeah, that's it. That's where it's got to be iconic. So you could have a really good mo, but like you overcome it in some way. Whereas like the top class ones, they're overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some good mows in rugby league history.
Like, I tell you what, okay, so, like, I don't even know what Tom Selleck looks like. You know, that's what your mo should do.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Tom Selleck? But if his mo come in that room, it'd be like, oh, that's Tom Selleck.
James Giltinan had a good mo.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. It looked like, because it didn't go like shaped around his lip. It looked like it just came out of his nose.
Oh, right. Yeah. I tell you, Wally Lewis had a pretty good one for a little bit.
Okay. How did we not mention him before? Wally's was epic.
Wally's was pretty good.
That's an iconic mo.
Can you grow a pretty good mo?
No.
I can grow a good mo, but it's like, it's obviously not Tom's. If it was Tom Selleck level, I would just have it all the time. Mine's like probably the next step down, where it's a pretty good mo.
Yeah, no, mine only looks decent if it's gone with the entire whole beard thing, because it's mishmash between my brownish reddish hair and white hair because I'm old.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just looks like shit.
Yeah.
But if I get the whole beard going on, then it kind of gets hidden away with its garbageness, because the rest of the beard looks garbage as well.
Yeah, so I normally keep it just so I've got stubble, you know, so I'm just ruggedly handsome.
Yeah.
But if I can do the whole, like my dad was the same, he can do a proper mow. My dad had a really good mow, actually. His was fucking amazing. But so I can do that, but I've got to commit so hard to it. I feel like I don't want to be one of these like young dudes that are play acting that they're from the 70s. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
You know what? You mentioned Wally Lewis, and I was thinking there's another 5'8" that played around that period that had a good mo as well, and that was Terry Lamb.
Oh, yeah, he did have a mo, yeah.
His wasn't too shabby.
You know what, Sam Bacco?
Oh.
Sam Bacco had that might be the best rugby league one, I think, Sam Bacco.
Yeah, he had his was more of the David Boone type.
Yeah, it was like, I don't even think he has. I've never seen his top lip.
No, he never had one,
and it encroaches on the bottom one.
Yeah, it was legit a get the fuck out of my face mo.
It's a walrus mo. I'm a
destroy you.
Yeah, I can't do a walrus. There's only certain like people can do a walrus.
That's right. So now we're thinking Martin Bella.
You know what? That's a very good one. It's not quite the Sam Bacco one, but it's probably the next step down.
Yeah.
He had a good mo.
So I think more rugby league players today need to get that big animal mo going.
It would be just a full on mo.
Regan Campbell-Gillard had one going for a while, didn't he?
You know what? He did, and it was a very good one.
Yeah, his was solid.
His was very, very solid. The thing I would like to see a player do, and I think Brian To'o's the first player that could do it and get away with it. War paint.
Interesting.
Yeah, war paint. Run out with war paint on your face. Like nothing special. Just like grab like a bunch of boot polish, just rip it down your face. You're not. It's not style. It's not pretty. It's just I'm running out with war paint.
Why the hell not? He's got that intense look in their eyes.
Yeah. You want someone that's like, oh, fuck, what's going on? Like, that's what you want.
That's right.
I want war paint.
Well, people, if you've got some more ideas on, great mows, especially in rugby league history, but great mows all time. I don't know how we got onto this, but by all means, email us and let us know.
Gary Belcher.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Belcher, he had a damn good one.
He
had one that was so good that when he did shave it off, it was like, it felt weird.
You looked at him and went, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. Have you ever seen those videos of where like a guy will have a beard or a moustache or something for years and years, and then he shaves it off, and his kid's reaction or his girlfriend or his wife's reaction, and they're like, ugh, they don't like it on like a real visceral level.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're insane.
And that's how I felt about Gary Belcher when he shaved his mo. It was like I just didn't want anything to do with it.
Actually, that now leads me to another Gary Schofield.
Oh, jeez. God damn it. I have to give him his props. It was a pretty good one. It was a ratty one.
Yes.
But it worked well with his face.
He stuck with it too. He didn't.
It looked like it belonged on him.
Yeah. He owned it.
That's where it is, yeah.
He took ownership of it.
I bet there were some old English players that had good mows.
Oh, there would be for sure. It was all the rage in the early 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s.
You know, how about Tony Staggs? He sports the mow every so often.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
In fact, there's a couple of Brisbane players that sport the mow.
Yeah. Got any in mind?
I'm
just doing a search for some old English players.
There's a winger, and I can't remember what his name is now, but he has a good mow. What's his name? God damn it. Let me grab it. Hang on. This is the best part of the podcast when we're both just randomly Googling shit.
Yeah. Well, welcome to what happens when we press stop record.
Jesse Arthurs, that's it.
Jesse Arthurs.
He's like just pure mow.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
It's got to be like just mow though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse Arthurs is the one I was thinking about. He's got a really good one. And when you see it like in when he's playing, I think that when you see like the live footage, like you can take a picture of someone, but when you see the live footage of him, it's a pretty damn good mow.
Here's one. Ellery Hanley.
I don't know. It's a bit of a rough one. Who's had the worst mow?
Geez, I tell you what, that'd be a pretty long list.
Yeah.
I think we've seen a few players I think Nathan Cleary's had a pretty shabby one.
He had the I'm smoking a cigar in the 1920s in New York mo.
Yeah.
Which I can appreciate, but that's a different thing.
Yeah. Especially some of the early mows that he had where they were a little bit narrower.
Yeah.
He's like, mate, what are you doing? Like that looks like you're going in the wrong direction. When he let it go a bit wider, it was a bit better.
We could, you know what? We could just on the podcast. What if all of us just started growing mows? But you got to like get rid of everything else.
Oh, geez, I don't know if I could do that. I think mine looks too bad.
That's all right. I'm not going to push. I don't want anyone to look terrible.
I've got to go to do stuff in public. If I had to sit at home all day and just work behind my computer, I'd be in on that on a flash.
If you're at home all day taking pictures of fucking high end collectibles, you could do it.
Yeah, and toys and dolls and stuff.
How dare you? Maybe I should just do. But I think I might do that. I'll just go full mo. Why the fuck not?
Full mo.
Oh, yeah.
So which one are you going to go with though?
It's like
out of the players we've mentioned, whose is yours going to look like then?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like it's probably Jesse Arthur's level, maybe. Yeah, about that. Like I can do a real good mo.
This is almost like a Cameron Munster one.
It's a full one. Like it's a full mo. Like it's not one of the ones where it's like, oh, it's a half mo or something. It's like a full one.
Yeah, mine's not that.
Okay. The problem is that the thing I have with my facial hair, isn't this fucking riveting for our listeners, by the way?
I reckon they absolutely love it. See, this is the problem you get when there's no Formula One on, because that's what we'd normally be doing right now.
Next week we'll talk about our pubes. But yeah, like problem I have with facial hair is it's fine, and then out of nowhere it annoys the shit out of me, and I have to immediately get my hair clippers out and just shave my face because I use hair clippers to shave my face. So yeah, it's
Yeah, mine immediately gets to very quickly the desired length of what's to be at, and then it just goes, nope, that's it, we're done.
yeah, I get that.
When I was younger, it used to get quite a bit more bushy.
Yeah.
I've said to people before, like the best way to describe what my facial hair looked like when I was in my 20s is if I grew a beard, and I only did it once. It looked like, it looked like Will Ferrell in Anchorman when he's drinking the milk on the street. That's how it looked. Like it was shabby.
That's fucked up.
It was shabby. It doesn't get that long anymore now.
Yeah, you can't do that, can you?
Nah, that was nasty times.
That's rough.
Thankfully, there's no photographs, no evidence of it either, so it was good.
I was worried about that the first time I shaved my head. Like I gave myself a buzz cut. I was worried that because you're committed, and it's like if my head looks wonky, it's fucked. It's the same sort of thing, you're fucking, you're fucked. But I've luckily enough, I had a nice shaved head. I found out. Yeah, I'll go the mo. I'll commit to a mo. We'll see what we do, and I'll shave everything else. And I can't show anyone. Except you. But you can see. You can give reports.
If it comes out and it's really good, then we'll have to start getting you to do, make it link up with your sideburns.
Could I do that? It goes down too far. It doesn't go straight across enough.
Who was it who did that?
There
was a pro wrestler who did that. Was it Perry Saturn?
Oh, was it him? It might have been.
He kind of did. He had more of a beard. Yeah, no, he did it.
He just got there, I think.
He did the fully around like the goatee, but he didn't do the bit in the middle on the chin, and then he went just along the bottom side of his jaw.
I just think the important thing about facial hair though is you cannot how would I describe it? You can't style it, right? And so when I do my mow, I'm literally just going to shave the rest of my face like I normally would. And it's going to take 5 minutes, right? You can't treat it. You can't trim it. It just has to be what it is. When you start fucking curling it and shit, you're going into a different thing. It just has to be what it is, and that's it. When you see dudes that do all of these shapes on their faces and stuff, no. Like Lewis Hamilton, no. Yeah. Okay? That's something weird.
Don't go around very weird. Being pretentious with your facial hair.
Yeah, it's like, dude, what are we doing here? What do you want to be pretty? Are you trying to be pretty? No, you just got to. It's like this is what it is, and that's it.
It grows.
So there's not going to be.
Yeah, it grows, and then you get rid of it if you want to. Otherwise, you keep it and leave it alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no product. There's no. I'm just going to do this. Nah. Fuck that.
That's it. I'm with
you. Got to look. It needs to look disgusting.
Manly.
Yeah, exactly. It's going back to being a goddamn man.
Being a bloke.
Yeah, it's like fucking. That's how you handle a mo. It's like that's what Tom Selleck did. It's like it's giant. It's there. You want me. I get it.
It's an entity unto its own.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. It's like carrying around a superpower.
Oh man, I think we've almost talked about mustaches as we did about rugby league.
Probably just about. Anyway, next week I'll tell you all about my landing strip.
Tune in on that one. We'll have to make sure that was a video episode. All right, we're going to make sure we just get it on portrait, not landscape.
Oh, jeez.
On that expansive note.
Girthy note.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the beard talk and the girth talk. We've said girth a lot in this episode. It's good.
Yeah, we should break the world record for saying girth.
We've gone close. We should actually lobby to get Girt by C replaced with Girth by C.
Remember when we were going to try and see if there was a world record for saying the C word?
Oh yeah, you were in charge of that job.
Yeah, I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I don't think there's an answer.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a world record for that.
Let's just say we have it then. I'm sure we did it in one episode.
There was one episode we went hard at it,
yeah.
And I would be shocked if anyone said it more than we said it in that episode.
Good times, good times. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you enjoy your footy this weekend. Send us your emails, please, to, what is it?
podcast@leaguefreak.com.
Send them there. That would be fantastic. As well as Glenn, that guy.
Greg, you just called him Greg.
I give him a reason to email us again.
Jesus.
So you know my fucking name already? I don't get the email. Email us. That would be fantastic. Like and subscribe to all the videos on YouTube, and we will catch you all next time.